Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, welcome and adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one-of-its-kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sphurti, shakti and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. A good day and good evening to all the listeners and viewers of Storytellers Cafe. This is a very special edition. On the occasion of Gandhi Jayanti, we have something special for all the listeners and viewers of Storytellers Cafe. I'm your host, Usha Venkatraman from Mumbai. Welcome, friends, to Storytellers Cafe. Today is 2nd October, and we all know it is the Mahatma's birthday. And Storytellers Cafe has something special for you. But before that, let me introduce the artist for today's evening. Today evening, Vikram Sridhar joins us from Chennai. Vikram, you could describe Vikram as somebody who sits behind the temple elephants, nursing wounded puppies, working with various theatre groups. Vikram Sridhar is a performance storyteller and theatre practitioner, combining his various interests and work over 20 odd years in theatre, conservation, and social work. He has extensively traveled the country performing, facilitating workshops, and speaking at schools, corporates, business conferences, literary and cultural festivals for children and adults. Vikram believes in the Desi way of storytelling. That's wonderful. You will see it for yourself. And Vikram also strongly believes that a story a day keeps the doctor away, not an apple. Mark those words. You can follow Vikram on his Instagram handle, Storytelling Fellow, The Storytelling Fellow. On LinkedIn, it's Vikram Sridhar 1, and on Facebook, The Storytelling Fellow. Friends, let me give you a little heads up about today's performance. I don't want to say much. You're going to see it for yourself. And then we will have a conversation with Vikram on Sunday about his production. Now, the show is called In and Around the Mahatma. So this is a story-filled journey into the lives of people who shaped, influenced, and touched the life of Gandhiji, woven together through his favorite morning bhajan, Vaishnava Janato. This is something very, very different. So I invite you all to sit back and enjoy to this production on Mahatma. For many of the youngsters out there, if you saw a picture of Mahatma Gandhi and didn't know who he was, you might think he was just a guy in glasses and sandals sitting at a spinning wheel. When you learned what he had done for India, you might think, really, Is that so? So sit back and watch the production in and around the Mahatma. And now it's my pleasure to bring our guest Vikram Sridhar on the screen. Welcome to Storytellers Cafe, Vikram. A pleasure to host you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So, I think you would like to get straight into your story. So, I will excuse myself from the screen and the stage is yours. Take it away, Vikram.
Thank you, Storytellers Cafe, Usha Venkatramanji, and Bharat FM. And my name is Vikram Sridhar, and I'm right now in Chennai. Where do we start? I am not a singer. I don't speak native Gujarati. I'm not a historian, but I'm just a collector of tales. Will you come along with me on this journey, as many of you would also be going along? It might be a little wobbly journey, but hold me tight with my hand till we finish the next few minutes. Because a journey like Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi is an infinite journey. And for today, I'm going to take you the way I have journeyed. I'm still journeying. I will journey this life. I am an 80s kid. I was born in the 1980s in a city which was called Madras. And I lived and grew up in an area called T Nagar. And I studied in a school in T Nagar. And every day after school, I used to see the notice board. There used to be a small paper that was stuck and said volunteers required for scribing for visually impaired students. And it gave the address where this was happening. And this was a school called Thakkar Baba Vidyalaya. Not far away from where I stayed. I told my parents, they said, take an auto. And in those times, it was quite far. You see, 2 kilometers, very far. And they said, be careful. And I used to take an auto or sometimes walk. Because while coming back, I could buy an ice cream with that saved money. And it was in a traffic-ridden, very, very main signal called Nandanam. And before the Nandanam signal, and I see right, that school comes, and it was called Thakkar Baba Vidyalaya. And I entered that school, and every time I entered that school, I used to hear a song. Vaishnava Janato Tene Kahiye Je Peed Paraye Jani Re. Vaishnava Janato Tene Kahiye Je Peed Paraye Jani Re. पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये मन अभिमान न आनी रे वैष्णव जन तो. And I used to keep hearing this in a small stereo, and that was kept below the statue of the founder, whose name was Thakkar Baba. Amrit Lal Vital Das was his name. And I used to finish scribing for the blind students and then walk around and ask everybody, who's this Thakkar Baba? Because it's not a Tamil word. It's not a word that's common in Chennai. The closest we had this word called Appa Thakkar. But then what is the word and who's this Thakkar Baba? And they asked me to go to the office. And I went to the office and asked the person in the office, who's this man? Why is the school called Thakkar Baba Vidyalaya? Did he live in Chennai? And they said, no. He's a Gujarati. He was born in Gujarat, and he's the one who gave land for the school. And this, not even a school, this was an institute for vocational training. People used to come there to learn. And I asked, can you tell me something more about Thakkar Baba so that I can learn something about Thakkar Baba? And they said, yes. He was born in Bhavnagar in the same year that Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born, a little later in November. Born has Amritlal Vital Das Thakur. He was a studious student. He studied very well. He did all that he could do to make his studies brilliant, and he passed out with a degree in civil engineering. And with that, he worked in many cities in India, and he was also in the same group which was sent to Uganda to lay the first railway track in Uganda. But this man, everywhere he traveled, something was touching him hard. In 1914, he met Gopala Krishna Gokhale. And when he met Gopala Krishna Gokhale, he asked a question to Gopala Krishna Gokhale: why is India very different from what I see at home? Because that was a time when the word untouchability was quite common. And he said, I wanted to work for these people, for the upliftment of the people who are not in the same league as what I see. And Gopal Krishna Gokhale said, go, start working. And Thakurji started working in the grassroots. He even founded the Beel Seva Mandal in 1922 and made sure everybody who belonged to every community had the right to education. And some say that he was the one who coined the word Adivasi. And when Gandhiji founded the Harijan Seva Sangh, he made Amritlal Vital Das Thakur the first secretary, general secretary. And you know what? Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi called Thakur as Baba. And that's why he was called Thakur Baba. And Thakur Baba was his name. And when Gandhiji had instituted a center for vocational training in an area in Chennai called Kodambakam, for some it could mean Kollywood, similar to Bollywood. Yeah. And that had to get shifted, and our Thakur Baba gave land. And Gandhiji was very sure that this institute should be named after Thakur Baba. Though Thakur Baba said, no, Gandhiji's ideals, and so this should be named after Gandhiji. Gandhi said, it's you who inspired me to work with these people for the upliftment of the people who don't get resources as much as us. And Thakur Baba Vidyalaya was formed, and that school. And that man in the office even told me a story. You know what? Once when Thakur Baba came to Chennai, it was raining very, very badly, and it was raining cats and dogs. And Thakur Baba was so wet, and he entered the center to give a talk. And everybody around Thakur Baba asked him, sir, why don't you dry yourself? Why don't you change your dress? Why don't you, maybe we'll postpone the talk in some time. And he said, no, nah. And they said, you're going to go on stage like this? He said, yes. And in his wet clothes, he wore the black jacket, and he went on stage and gave a speech in his wet clothes. And people were like, what's wrong with this man? And later in the night, did they know that Thakur Baba only carried one set of clothes with him. And that one set of clothes, every night he used to wash and dry it and go to sleep. A simplicity soul, a simple soul was Thakur Baba, Amritlal Vital Das Thakur. And as time passed, the day when he died, they say his volunteers who studied in his schools had gone to the same place. And that was the day when they were supposed to build a well. And the same day when Thakur Baba died, the volunteers remembered Baba's words, duty is above. And Thakur Baba told Gandhi, or instigated Gandhi to say that all our ideologies is not about talking, it's about working. The grassroots people should know what our ideals are, and working in the grassroots is what is going to create the India of tomorrow. And that stuck strong with Gandhiji. And on that day when he died, his volunteers, the first thing that they did was complete the well for water for that village. And only then did they even come and see Baba. What is it to shift our lifestyle? Shift our lifestyle and ideology from one frame to another, and to embrace a life of oneness. Thakur Baba gave that to Gandhiji. Vaishnava jan to tene kahiye je, पीड़ पर आए जानी रे, पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये मन अभिमान न आनी रे. A lot of times we know the song by heart, but how many of us know the meaning of the song? Especially in Chennai, I've sung the song so many times in my school. This Gujarati bhajan was more than just a song, it's something more for each one of us. Call those people Vaishnava who feel the pain of others. Help those who are in misery, but never let self-conceit enter their mind. Thakkar Baba. Who's Thakkar Baba? I'm going to show you this man who touched many people in India. And every time he touched, they say, he didn't want his name to even come out in press. He wanted his work to be in silent. And that's a school that I went always to volunteer and talk and work and scribe for the blind children there. Students, children, different age groups who are writing their exams. And this is Thakkar Baba's statue, the man. And this is Thakkar Baba with Gandhiji. And that school during the Chennai floods got washed and a lot of books got damaged. And this was an appeal that was put out for raising funds every time that they wanted more resources. Thakkar Baba for us. And from this soul, in Chennai, I moved to another Tamil world. Gandhiji spent a lot of his years in South Africa. We all know that. Before he came to India in 1915, he spent a lot of years as a barrister, as working for the people of South Africa. And I went to the Sabarmati Ashram once in Ahmedabad. How many of you have gone to the Sabarmati Ashram? And I thought it's a large museum, large ashram, and I could go there and experience it. I went there. And I did spend a lot of time. But as I was walking past the images in the museum, I paused for a second. Not because I was tired, not because I wanted to see who else is there in the museum, but the image that was there on the wall was large, was huge. The largest, I think, even in the museum, was 2 teenage children. And that teenage children was what I was surprised watching, such a human-sized photo. Sakala loke ma sahune mande ninda na kare ke nire vach kach man nishal rake dhan dhan janani ke deni re. They respect the entire world. Do not disparage anyone. Keep their words, actions, and thoughts pure. The mother of such a soul is blessed. The mother of such a soul is blessed. And I watched and looked at these 2 teenage children. Who are they? Why are their photos there in Sabarmati Ashram? And why is that so strong, I thought? And I looked closer. It said, Thillayadi Valliyammai on one photo. On the other photo was Swami Nagappan Padayachi. Swami Nagappan Padayachi's story is for another day, and he was one of the first martyrs in the Satyagraha movement in South Africa. Thillayadi Valliyammai is the story I'm going to take you on to. The day she was born, 22nd February, was the same day that Thillayadi Valliyammai gave up her life. And she was born Thillayadi Valliyammai, not in India, not in Tamil Nadu, but in South Africa. Thillayadi is her hometown from where her parents came from, Munuswami and Mangalam. And like many migrants who moved from southern India to many parts of the world for labor, these 2 couple went to South Africa. And when they went there, like many people, they formed a community of Tamil migrant laborers. And that's when Gandhi had landed in South Africa. And he discovered that other than English, other than Gujarati, the language that was important to communicate with the Indians was Tamil. And Gandhi did try learning Tamil. I'll show you an image or a signature of Gandhi in Tamil in some time. And as Gandhi started his movement along with Kasturba Gandhi, and there were many, many days in which every Indian was working there slowly came and offered their services. And that is when the big law was passed. The big law was passed. You know what law I'm talking about. And with that law, Indians were penalized. And this was a marriage law. And they said the marriage was approved only according to the law that they had imposed. And that law was not okay with a lot of Indian migrants there. And Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi went on a march. He took everybody along with him, and he began his opposition against the law. And it was in 1913 that the law was imposed, and the punishment was the 3-pound tax and 3 months of hard labor, and they were imprisoned, those who walked in opposition. And this was Transvaal to Natal, which was not legally permitted. The march continued. And in the march, Gandhi and Kasturba, so there was a tiny little girl who was frail in shape, and she was marching with full vigor. And they asked her, "What is your name?" She looked at Gandhi and Kasturba in the eyes and said, "En peru Tillayadi Valliyamai." And Gandhi saw a spark in her eyes. And Gandhi said, "Tell me again. Aapka naam kya hai?" No. En peru Tillayadi Valliyamai. Tamil. She said in the language. And she was imprisoned along with Gandhi and others. And when she was imprisoned and she was supposed to give her name, and the inspector there asked her, "Tell me about your nationality and which country do you come from?" With a mocking. And he said, "Your country doesn't even have a flag. What a country!" And she tore her sari and she threw it on his face and said, "This is my country." And this was the half sari, which was typical of a teenage South Indian girl. She tore her half sari and threw that cloth on his face and said, "I come from this country called Bharat." And this inspector couldn't reply back. And she was imprisoned and her health was failing slowly. And that is when Gandhiji had to bring her back when she was released from jail and she was failing in health. And it's quoted that Gandhi had a conversation with Valliyamai, and he asked Valliyamai, "Don't you repent of you going to jail?" Gandhi asked, and she replied, "Repent? I'm even now ready to go to jail again for my country. But what if it results in your death?" asked Gandhi. "I do not mind dying for my country. என் நாட்டுக்காக சாகிறதுக்கு நான் பெருமைப்படுறேன் காந்திஜி." She told in Tamil, "Mera Bharat. And for my Bharat, I will take my life. What's wrong in that?" And Gandhiji sort of woke up from that call. And he said, "What a girl. A little girl who's not even seen India, who was not even born in the country, is fighting for a country. What am I doing here? Shouldn't I be going back to India and fighting for the freedom?" And that spark led one of the many reasons for Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi to travel to India in the following years. 1914, 1915, slowly Gandhi came back to India. And when Gandhi came back to India, of all the choices of cities he could go to, from Bombay, he traveled down south into a little town near Madras called Tillayadi. And he laid the foundation for a memorial for this little girl. And Tillayadi Valliyamai sits there. What is it to lose your childhood? What if our childhood is taken away for a cause? Imagine our teenage time goes for a struggle that we strongly believe in. Imagine a girl going through that. A teenage girl went through that and she gave up her life. Tillayadi Valliyamai. सकल लोक मां सहुने वंदे निंदा न करे के नीरे वाच काच मन निश्चल राखे जन धन जननी के नीरे Vaishnava jana to. They respect the entire world. Do not disparage anyone. Do not disparage anyone. Keep their words, actions, and thoughts very pure. And they say the mother of such a soul is blessed. Tillayadi Valliyamma, how did she look? Where is his memorial? What does Gandhi's writing in Tamil look like? This is Tillayadi Valliyamma. And on the left is Swami Nagappan Padayachi, the two teenagers in South Africa who gave their life for a freedom struggle, whose stories are still being told. And these two people find reference in Gandhi's words in many, many, many talks that he gives every time he's traveled. And this is one of the very few, the only photograph of Tillayadi Valliyamma. And this is a memorial that was laid for Tillayadi Valliyamma in this little town called Tillayadi. And Gandhi used to sign in many languages. He used to sign in whichever language that the person opposite to him used to speak. And these are two such writings. The one on the top, where it says Devi Bala Vinoda Sangeeta Sabha, is after Gandhi watched a play in a sabha, and he wrote his comments in English and he signed in Tamil. And below you'll see that Gandhi, this is comment on Bharatiyar, Subramanya Bharatiyar, Gandhi's exchange of words in Tamil. And yes, that's written by Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. And such a man, such a soul, Thakkar Baba, Tillayadi Valliyamma, touched in their own way. But there was somebody who was always with Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, and they say that he spent more time with Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi than even Kasturba Gandhi. Samadrishti ne Krishna tyagi parastri jene matare जीवत किया सत्य बोले परधन न बजले हाथ रे वैष्णव जन तो. They see all equally, renounce craving, respect other women as their own mother. Their tongue never utters false words. Their hands never touch the wealth of others. Call those people Vaishnava. When Gandhi returned to India and he set up his office in Ahmedabad, he was also parallelly searching for a space so that he could set an ashram. And he sent out his invite asking for recommendations of how the ashram should be, what should be the rules, what sort of code of conduct, what should be the space, what all should happen. And people gave their critical views, critical remarks, their opinions. And there were three people, they say, who were a very, 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 very strong part of Gandhi's Ahmedabad times when he returned from South America. One was Narhari Parikh, the second was Swami Anand, and the third comrade is whom the story is about, Mahadev Desai. And Mahadev Desai's birthday is something that we can never forget. Yes, he was born on the 1st of January. He was a New Year born baby. He was born in Surat, a boy who just loved to study. He loved to study. No games, no outdoor games, no indoor games. And he used to just play all the time. And when he played all the time, he used to say, no, I don't like playing. I want to come back and study, because books, Gujarati, English, Marathi, and even Bangla, they say he knew very well. And he had no inclination to games and just books. He topped his school and he was a very studious student. And as time passed, and when he heard about Gandhi's returning, and he had read in newspaper, and remember those days social media where people and radio were talking about this Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who had led such a strong opposition in South Africa. He's going to come to India. And when he came to India, he came to Ahmedabad, and Mahadev Desai was excited to meet this man. And when Gandhi started giving his lectures, he used to be the first person to go and sit and listen to Gandhiji. And every time he listened, he used to watch like this, his eyes fixed on Gandhi's words. And every time Gandhi spoke, Mahadev Desai responded. And where do you find Mahadev Desai? Some of you might have read this book or seen this book. This book, if you open, will say, My Experiments with Truth. And here it says Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. But you open the English version and go into the next page, you will see this name Mahadev Desai. Yes. And if you go a little, you see the translator or the man who wrote Gandhi's biography, autobiography in English was Mahadev Desai. He took help of others. He mentions those names. But as Mahadev Desai's English words do we read? The Story of My Experiment with Truth, an autobiography, translated by Mahadev Desai. And Mahadev Desai used to listen to these lectures every day, and he wished that he could just spend his time just watching Gandhi all the while. And he and Narahari Parikh used to go run. And he immediately sent this letter about the ashram that Gandhi was going to open. And the year was 1915. And Mahadev Desai wrote the letter. And one day, he had the courage to even ask Gandhi, Gandhi, have you read my letter? And Gandhi, in his very frail tone, replied. And this was a big hall, and there were people crowded. And Mahadev Desai went closely and asked Gandhi, have you read my letter? Bapu, have you read my letter? And Gandhi replied, yes, I've received a letter signed by 2 people. And I hope those 2 people are you. Are you Mahadev Desai and are you Narahari Parikh? And we nodded their head, yes, it's us. And Gandhi looked at them very closely. And one day Gandhi looked at Mahadev Desai and said, Mahadev, will you visit me every day? Mahadev said, of course. I don't have a problem. Of course, I will visit you every day. And one day, Gandhi even said, not visit me every day, but will you come and stay with me? And Mahadev Desai was married. He had a family. And Mahadev Desai was like, and he had a job. He had a full-time job. And he had a stunned face like this. And Gandhi shook him and said, Mahadev, I'm asking you for a reason. I've been watching you for the last 2-3 years, and every day the way that you come and spend time, and I've seen 3 qualities in you. I've seen these 3 important qualities in you. One is regularity. Second is fidelity. And the third is intelligence. I was searching for these 3 qualities, and someone who can carry on my work, and someone who can take care of my work. And he told Mahadev Desai, will you believe that if I tell you that I've got in you the man I wanted, the man to whom I can trust all my work someday and just go and ease and lie down? and I can also rely my work with confidence. And Mahadev Desai, with all these words, were what is Gandhi asking? And he just had a moment. He didn't think of anything. And he said, yes, Gandhi ji, yes. And from that day, 1917 to 1942, every day Mahadev Desai spent time. And in the words of Rajmohan Gandhi, who wrote on Mahadev Desai, he says, waking up before Gandhi in pre-dawn darkness and going to sleep long after his master, and also living this life 3 times. 2 times waking up before and also going to sleep after his master. He also lived Gandhi's life 3 times. How did he live his life 3 times? First, in an attempt to anticipate Gandhi's day. Second, is spending the entire day with Gandhiji. And the third, recording them in his diary. His diary is what we know many things about Gandhiji. And one such page in his diary, when you open and read, is about a dal fry. Yes, Mahadev Desai has written about Gandhiji's dal fry. And he quotes that one day when he made dal fry and took it to Bapu, Bapu took the dal in his hand and took it in his fine fingers and even crushed them and smelt them. And Bapu said, Mahadev, how did you make this dal? And Mahadev said, well, I put water, I put the dal, and in 2 containers, I boil them like anybody else. How different do you make dal? No. And Bapu showed him a different way that he used to follow in South Africa. He told Mahadev, bring the container, and he put water in the bottom container, and in the upper container, he put dal. And he said, try this method. And Mahadev took that and boiled dal, and he saw that the dal was different. And that is written in his diary. Mahadev Desai. Where do you find Mahadev Desai today? Take a trip from Bombay to Pune. And there is a palace called the Aga Khan Palace. Yes, it's the same palace in which Kasturba Gandhi is laid to rest. On the same palace in 1942, August 15th, I repeat, August 15th, Mahadev Desai, who was also jailed in the palace, left his body. August 15, 1942. And that's the Mahadev Desai who lived his life. And what is it to surrender? What is it to surrender completely to one person? That bhakti of surrender to one person who completely takes us away on a journey. And that is what Mahadev Desai experienced with Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. And Mahadev Desai, you will find him in many pictures. And sometimes you may not notice Mahadev Desai. And that's Mahadev Desai, the man next to Gandhi, and the man who's even occupying Gandhi's time when Gandhi's resting, who woke up before, who slept after, who documented his days. And he was only 50 when he left his life. And the day he died, 16th of August, Indian Express quotes, Srijut Mahadev Desai passes away. No picture. And the next day, 17th, in a very small space, what Mahatma Ji said of Desai. There is still a picture of Gandhi and Nehru. But where is Mahadev Desai? Aga Khan Palace, Kasturba Gandhi on one side, on the other side, Mahadev Desai. Vaishnava Jan to tene kahiye jai पीड़ पराये जानी रे मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जीने दृढ़ वैराग्य जीने मन मामरे राम नाम श्रुताली लागी सकल तीरथ तेना tanamamre. They do not succumb to worldly attachments. They are firmly detached from the mundane. They are enticed by the name of Ram. All places of pilgrimage are embodied in them. Moha maya vyape nahi jeene. Dhrida vairagya jeena manamamre. Rama nama shutali lagi sakala tirata tena tanamamre. Vaishnava janato tene kahiye je. And from Mahadev Desai, this was a time I traveled along the coast of Gujarat. And my travels in Gujarat has been to remote villages, remote towns, from Baroda to Ahmedabad. And somewhere once the journey took me to the shores of this beach of Mandvi. And when I entered Mandvi beach, it was very hot and there was not many people there. It's one of the largest shipbuilding yards in the world. And from there, I was walking past the road to see if there could be one auto that could take me. And as I kept walking, I came across this big building, a building which looked as if I was in London. Imagine a London looking house in Gujarat, in a place where not many people were there. It's a beach, it's a coastal place. And along Mandvi, as I kept walking, not a single building, but suddenly this huge building comes up. And closer I go, I ask the security guard, what is this building? He says, ye India House hai. And I say, what is India House? And I take my phone quickly and I Google India House, and I came across this article that said the ashes of Shyamji Krishna Varma was brought from Switzerland to India and from Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar to this place, Mandvi. I took my phone and kept it down, and I looked straight to see what is this building, what is this museum, what is there inside it, why this urn was brought by the chief minister and on a rally. Wait, who is this person? Who is Shyamji Krishna Varma? Shyamji Krishna Varma lived between 1857 and 1930, and he was practicing law, and he lived in London. Yes, he was an NRI. And Shyamji Krishna Varma set up this India House in London so that Indians who studied in London could come and stay, could experience Indian food, and could continue studying in ease. And one such time is an encounter that Gandhi encountered with Savarkar. Yes, Savarkar and Gandhi met in this India House set up by Shyamji Krishna Varma. And Shyamji Krishna Varma was highly influenced by Swami Dayanand Saraswati and was very much impressed with his philosophy, writings, and the spirit of nationalism. And had become one of his ardent admirers. And it was upon Dayanand's inspiration he set up a base in England for Indians. This house, India House, was a place where a lot of NRIs could gather and talk about independence movement, Swaraj, and all that was planned outside India. There were many such people who met there. And Shyamji was also a very ardent follower and admirer of Lokmanya Tilak and supported him during many such initiatives. But then, when the British got to know about this, he was exiled. And he was exiled from many of the countries in Europe. And finally, he died in London. And this building, and it is what was replicated in this museum near Mandvi. And this huge museum was built in an expense of many crores, and it documents the Indians who fought for the independence outside India, like Shyamji Krishna Varma. And he died in Geneva, and his ashes was there in Geneva for a very, very long time, till it was brought back to India after 2000s. buildings and spaces. Sometimes these buildings are iconic. Spaces are iconic, right? And every place and every city you go around in India, you will see one such place that has been touched by Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, and that place is historic. It could be Bangalore, it could be Hyderabad, Bombay, Kolkata, Delhi, smaller cities like Coimbatore, Madurai. Which cities he touched, and every town, Kochi, everywhere there is historical space of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. And if not, there'll be a road named after him. There would be institutions named after him. And there's one such building that's iconic because that's a place that we all know. And the march that happened from Gandhinagar and Ahmedabad till that place is what we would have read in our books, the Dandi March of 1930. A little away from Surat, a little away from Navsari is Dandi. And when I visited Navsari, I took this much important place which I've read in my school and college times, and I've been saying, what is this beautiful space, and what is Dandi March? What does it look like? And that's an important place. I took a drive, and this entire road to Dandi is a scenic space to experience what happened in the last stretch of the Dandi March. And 1930, April 5th, as Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was walking towards the end of the march, he was stopped by someone. He was stopped and asked, Gandhi, why don't you take rest? Because the sun is going to set, because the sunset in this place is so beautiful. And the sun is going to set, and when it sets, there won't be much light. Why don't you complete your march tomorrow? And it'll be a pleasure if you can stay in this house. And this house is just here. And this house was Saifi Villa. And the man who showed the house was Syedni Tahir Saifuddin Sahib. And he showed the house and said, Gandhiji, this house will be blessed to have you. And Gandhiji, along with the followers, entered this house. And Gandhi slept on the first floor. And in the ground floor was all the followers took rest. And this historical event of Salt Satyagraha happened on the beach. And this Saifi Villa, as time passed, Sahib in the 1960s requested Jawaharlal Nehru, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, to take over the building as a memorial and dedicate that memorial, the building, to the country. And Saifi Villa was offered as a national heritage to anyone who visits Dandi. And next time you visit Gujarat, take a trip to see these two places, Saifi Villa and the India House, that in its own way marks an Indian movement outside India and inside India. And as we travel and look at what does India House look like, what does Saifi Villa look like, and this is Syedni Tahir Saifuddin Sahib, along with Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, inside the Saifi Villa, showing him around the place where Gandhi slept, and all his followers were also there. And this is the Saifi Villa. The windows face the sea where Dandi March officially ended. This is the Memorial Museum over there. And from there, you move to Mandvi of Shyamji Krishna Varma, who ran the magazine called Indian Sociologist. The Indian Sociologist was run in London and carried stories of the Indian struggle. And this is the London building in India, the India House, and that's a statue of Shyamji Krishna Varma and his wife, who laid a strong foundation for Indian independence movement outside India. And as the story goes, Samadrishti ne Krishna tyagi parastri jene matare जीवत किया सत्य न बोले परधन न बजले हाथ रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराये जानी रे। मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जिने दृढ़ वैराग्य जिना मन मामरे। राम नाम ताली लागी सकल तीरथ तेन तन मामरे। वन लोभिने कपट रहत चे काम क्रोध निवार्य रे। बन नरसियो तेनुम दर्शन करतम कुलो एको तेरता रे। They have forsaken greed and deceit. They stay afar from desire and anger. Narcis says, I'd be grateful to meet such a soul whose virtues liberate their entire lineage. They have forsaken greed and deceit. They stay afar from desire and anger. Narcis says, I'd be grateful to meet such a soul whose virtues liberate their entire lineage. And many of us might think the Sabarmati Ashram is where Gandhi stayed for many years of his life. And that's when my journey to another little town away from Ahmedabad, away from Bombay, near Nagpur, in a little town from Nagpur, which was a drive away, called Wardha. And from Wardha to another little ashram called the Sevagram. And Sevagram is where Gandhi spent many of his later years in the 1930s and 40s in building space, being the center of India. And located in the center of India, this was the space from where Mahadev Desai even went walking every day to Wardha to even courier the letters that Gandhi wrote. And Gandhi had set up his kuti called the Bapu Kuti. Kasturba had set up a kuti, and all the ashramites had settled down there. There was the morning bhajan, the afternoon bhajan, evening bhajan, Gandhi's lectures, and many activities was happening. Gandhi wrote his articles, he gave his speeches, everything was happening here. And that one day shook Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. And that day happened on one cold winter of 1939. 1939 December, chilling cold in what could be the forest area of those times. Gandhi was in his prayer meeting, and the prayer meeting was happening, and the ground was filled with his followers who were closing their eyes and listening. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sitaram Raghupati Raghav Raja. And that's when everybody stopped slowly chanting the bhajan, and their faces changed, their expression changed from wonder and bliss to a little bit of an irritation, because they could smell something which was not the normal smell. And they looked right, they looked left, they looked everywhere, and suddenly they looked down, they could see a body of flesh, red flesh, which was oozing with blood, and there were insects that were surrounding it. And Gandhi, who was in his deep meditation, didn't open his eyes till he finished the chant, the bhajan. And when he opened his eyes, he saw that people were far away. People was really far away, and they were closing their nose. They were saying, Gandhi, don't. And with that frustration, he could see their faces. And Gandhi said, what happened? And they said, look here, look there. And Gandhi turned, and he looked down, and he also saw the same lump of flesh. He also saw the same body which was filled with flies and insects and mosquitoes. And Gandhi knew that this person was suffering from the dreaded disease. Yes, India was suffering from many diseases at those times. Untouchability, casteism, and this was the next level of it, of diseases which could be cured, but And Gandhi went closer and put his hand and lifted the head of this person. And when he saw the face of this person, Gandhi was almost in tears, because this person was the man who taught him scriptures, who taught him Sanskrit, who taught him all the wonderful Vedic mantras when they were in jail. Parchure Shastri. And Parchure Shastri, many times when Gandhi quote says, Parchure Shastri never got his credit. But Gandhi kept all that aside and asked Parchure Shastri, what happened, Shastri? What are you, why are you in this state? And Shastri said, you see, I'm suffering from leprosy and I'm going to die in a few days, and I wanted to come to your ashram and leave my life right in front of me. And Gandhi, being Gandhi, said, no, that is not going to happen, and I don't think I will let this happen. And Gandhi looked around and asked everybody, will you all come and take care of Parchure Shastri? And Shastri ji knew nothing is going to change. And none of them even stepped forward. And Gandhi asked again and again. And they all said, Gandhi, you will get leprosy. Don't. He's anyway dying. And Gandhi said, relax. All that he needs is love and care. And that's all it needs for a disease to go away. And Gandhi told them, if I take care of Shastri ji and make him all right, will you all follow me? And they nodded their head. And Gandhi ji lifted Parchure Shastri and took him in his arms and put Shastri ji on the same bed that Gandhi used to lie down, on the floor and the little mattress. He kept him there in his space of retiring every day. And every day he used to massage the wounds. He used to clear the blood. He used to wipe out the different insect, the flies that were surrounding. And the most important, he used to talk to Shastri ji. He used to utter words of kindness. He used to listen to Shastri ji with his ears, with his heart. And after a few days, Shastri ji recovered. And Shastri ji recovered, and he said, Bapu, you have so many people coming and visiting you. I don't think I should be a burden. I need to go. And Bapu said, no, you're staying with me. And Shastri ji was given a separate kuti a little away from Bapu's house, which is called Parchure's kuti. And that kuti, even now if you go to Sevagram, you will see that kuti built in a way that Gandhi could see him every day. What if compassion, love and care leaves this world? Mahatma. There are many people in this world that we are in who've touched in Gandhi's life and were around Gandhi's life, and they all lived with him, after him, and people who Gandhi never met, or people who didn't meet Gandhi. And you definitely know many such people. And similar people travel in today's time. What if Gandhi comes back today? And Parchure Shastri was one such person. And when Parchure Shastri left, Gandhi was triggered with this question, but what happens to the common people who get leprosy? Where will they go? Where will they go and get their wounds healed? And that triggered few other people to take up this cause. And that happened. And this is Parchure's kuti, the board that is there in Sevagram. And this is Parchure Shastri, who Gandhi every day beautifully took care. He used to massage him, oil him, speak to him, physiotherapy. And this is the house that Parchure Shastri lived in the last few days of his life. And when Gandhi asked if somebody could give land, that we could build a hospital, this man, Manohar Joshi Diwan, Manoharji Diwan, said, I will give land. And one of the first hospitals for leprosy was built near Wardha, the land given by Manoharji. and seeing Gandhi's work, this man called Baba Amte gave his entire life for the welfare of people. And his son Prakash Amte continues that journey. And that is how we remember many such Gandhians in today's time. But can there be only one one Mahatma in this world? Can there be many Mahatmas? Because like Narsi Mehta said, everybody who had the qualities that he mentioned, and they all Mahatmas, and the Mahatmas right in our own life? वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पर आए जानी रे, पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये, पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये, मन अभिमान न आनी रे। वैष्णव जन तो महात्मा जन तो तेने कहिए जे। Call those people Mahatma, who feel the pain of others, help those who are in misery, but never let self-conceit enter their mind. They respect the entire world, do not disparage anyone, keep their words, actions, and thoughts pure. The mother of such a soul is blessed. They see all equally, renounce craving, respect other women as their own mother. Their tongue never utters false words. Their hands never touch the wealth of others, and they do not succumb to worldly attachments. They are firmly detached from the mundane. They are enticed by the name of the Almighty. All places of pilgrimage are embodied in them. They have forsaken greed and deceit. They stay far from desire and anger. Narsi says, I'd be grateful to meet such a soul whose virtue liberates their entire lineage. Mahatma jan to tene kahiye je, pir par aaye jani re, par dukhe upkar kare to ye, man abhiman na आनी रे। महात्मा जन तो तेने कहिए जे, पीड़ पर आए जानी रे। महात्मा जन तो तेने कहिए जे। Thank you. Nandri, Dhanyavad. Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vikram, for that amazing, explaining the beautiful song Vaishnava Janato, and quoting so many incidents in Mahatma's life that most of us are unaware, and you walked that path. You have, traversed that whole region, and amazing. And I hope all our listeners and viewers have enjoyed. Please do watch this Sunday, that is the 3rd of October, as I engage in conversation with Vikram, and we'll talk about how did he create this production. So that's it for now. Thank you, Vikram, so much. Thank you to all the listeners. Stay tuned, and do tune in tomorrow on the 3rd of October to know more about in and about the Mahatma.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.